Up guys, this is Patrick. I'm not sure if you can hear me or see me. I think you can hear me and see me, but if you're one of like the 6 people watching this is like one of the first live streams I've done, and I'm about to go grab food real quick, but while I'm waiting on the order, I'll just export this for cinema. And I think if you can see here, actually you can't see right now, you can just see me, but we just made the Golem Pokemon, and I believe all we have to do is, I think I'm going to make the really cool part, that rocky stuff in cinema, using like Fracture or a something like that. So that'll be fun, that'll be cool, and then we're pretty much halfway done with this whole thing. I just got to light and texture it, and we'll be good to go. So yeah, currently I'll show you what we got here. And then I think you should still be able to hear me. Now that I have this active, we got the Golem Pokemon here. Pretty much everything, if you look at my reference here. We got essentially everything minus the rocky stuff, and that'll be actually really fun. And I could actually make some of the rocks here, I guess, and then just like clone them. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that. But I guess we could do that as well. I mean, that would be very simple. As far as making these rocks, I could literally just kind of start from scratch here. I believe, I mean, those rocks look kind of like cylinders at its most basic form. So if I just grabbed like a, let me see, let's grab like a cylinder here, drag this over, kind of make it like that, a little bit bigger, down. Actually, if you want to make it to size, it'd probably be like and then we probably make them a little bit bigger like that. And then what I would just do is go straight up Dynamesh. Now we can see the mesh looks a little bit better for sculpting. And of course we can just get rid of that stuff. Actually, I'm just going to solo this for now. And yeah, so this looks decently good. And then to make the rocks, I'm just going to use like an H polish brush here and kind of just go crazy with it. So maybe give it some of that, some of this, some of that. As long as this thing isn't looking like really smooth, I mean, it's a rock, so it's supposed to kind of look a little bit jaggedy. Something like that. And then I think some of these have like different types of levels to them, so that could be cool. Smooth it out a little bit. As long as we have these general rock textures, and we don't need it to be too smooth since, you know, I think a lot of that will be done in cinema. So, but this kind of looks like, you know, at least what I would expect from one of those rocks, and then before we texture it. So I could probably just clone some of the stuff. Yeah. Andrea, I was totally thinking the same thing, so great minds think alike. So I would honestly probably just like, you know, let me title this rock. And I can duplicate that. Oops, okay. Duplicate this rock, solo that out, and then really all I gotta do is just use the H polish maybe a little bit more on different parts of this thing. Bring that up, even make it kind of funky, I guess, in certain spots. Down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we're kind of matching realism with stylization here, so as long as these rocks don't look too similar, they actually kind of do. So I think we can just have fun with it. Yeah, get like one of those angled pieces, something like that. Looks good to me. Maybe extrude that a little bit. Yeah. And that looks good for a second rock, so that's a little bit more you can see these will probably end up looking pretty decent on this thing. Yeah, not bad. And maybe one more, and then the rest I think a cloner would suffice, to be honest. Drag this over here. Rock 3. So I might even use like a clay brush here a little bit, just randomize it a little bit. Sorry, it's kind of tough with this, all this stuff floating around here. So once I randomize it a bunch, what I can do is just go back to the H polish. And I mean, this rock kind of looks good as is. I mean, we're already getting some funky shapes. Maybe pop it out a little bit. So it's this is where, like, I don't even think there's a wrong answer. I think you can just, like, this is where the creative freedom just flows. And so yeah, so we got 3 rocks here. I think that should be more than good to distribute along the this guy. And we'll see how it works. I mean, hopefully these things fit together, because if you notice in the reference, there's like pretty good space with all of them. And honestly, I feel like these rocks probably go down a little bit more. So what I might end up doing is just one of these things, making them a little bit more jaggedy, and actually what might even be better, because I don't want to distort too much of this stuff, I might just go something like that for kind of all of these, because I think that'll give it a little bit of space and leeway when we're cloning these things. So something like that. So just clean that up a little bit. And honestly, I think we can actually just Z-remesh these, to be honest. And then I'll kind of get rid of, let me see what happens here. If I just take this rock, Z-remesh, let's go half, kill adapt, keep the creases. Because all we're looking for here is just to create some pretty basic rocks we can clone and randomize in Cinema. And yeah, that should be good. Let's see. Okay. Maybe smooth the insides a little bit, because there's no need for like crazy harsh geometry, at least at that level. So let's Z-remesh again. Yeah. And that's fine with me. I mean, we don't really need anything too much crazier than that. And because we're not animating it, doesn't really matter how high poly it is. It's, you know, generally you want to have like a very low polygon mesh when you're going into Cinema, but that's kind of with the assumption that you'll be animating, and we're not. So I'm totally fine with keeping a lot of this stuff high poly. So I'm just Z-remeshing all of these rocks that I can clone on top of this guy at the end. And yeah, I assume you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can't. Is my audio good? Anyone who can hear me here would love to hear in the comments if you can hear me or if it's splotchy, because I know I've had some problems every once in a while with this audio, so just let me know. That would be a great help. Hey, dope. Okay, awesome. Glad you guys can hear. That was pretty fast response time. And in a second here, I'm just going to export these, and I'm going to have to dip for maybe 30 minutes or so and grab food, because I still have not eaten today. It's like 11:45 here in Atlanta, Georgia. So other than that, I think we're good. Gonna remesh that one more time, and you can just see, look how, I mean, this is why, again, someone was asking me why I use ZBrush. I mean, it gives you such a fast result of just like a new layout of these, of the topology. So we got 3 meshes that look pretty similar, but different enough to where I think will look good. So this is what we got so far. I think it'll look good with the lighting, texturing, and oh wow, we forgot to add the totally forgot the teeth, those little like teeth things. But I'm pretty sure I can just add that in cinema. That's very simple mesh. And if I wanted to, I guess I could just go here, might as well. I would take one of these guys, and maybe divide it a few times. I mean, that's all this guy really is just a glorified, you know, pyramid. And I think it'll just be good if we go bend curve. Oh, let me delete lower. Oh, delete lower. And let's go bend curve. Ooh, that might be, I think the polygon count might be too high for that. I'm not sure why that happens, but either way, I'm just gonna dynamesh it. As you can see, maybe go 228. There we go. And then now, if I were to bend curve, there we go. Definitely don't need all that. This is a very simple use case here, so I think I'm just gonna, and that's really all it is. Oh, I believe this is still on symmetry mode, so we don't need that. Yeah, remesher is pretty crazy, I cannot lie. And we're gonna have to fit this somewhere here. I mean, it kind of just looks like it's just buried deep in this guy, but it's not too bad. We have had bigger problems when making stuff in 3D, and that is just facts. And you know, the way even if it's colliding with certain things, like I'm really not tripping over something like that. That's a very small problem. Because I think, you know, the way I've been lighting a lot of my things, it's just been, the lighting is so dramatic and contrasty that you won't even be able to see any like real collision. I think that should be good. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Maybe have it move into the tongue, and then I can just move the tongue back a tiny bit. Yeah. Looks good. If I want to be real meticulous, I can just... Yeah, so that's definitely good for me, and then all I gotta do is go plug in, mirror, boom. And that should be good with me. I think all I'm gonna do is just remesh this now. Let's go have, adapt. Let's kill adapt. Half again. There we go. More time. And there we go. Not too bad. So I'm just going to say this one more time. And I believe that is good. So all we have to do is just Z plugin, FBX exporter. All these settings are fine. Export, and I'll just title that. And then it'll just remesh everything that was, or not remesh, it'll just export everything in a group that is visible. So all the stuff I had to remake or duplicate that was invisible won't get bumped out. So we are good for Cinema 4D. I'm gonna take a break. I'll leave this up here, but I'll be here in like 30 minutes maybe. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See you in a little bit. What up, guys? I don't know who's still here, who's not here. Just about to hop back on this real quick. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys are here, let me know. Just making sure this is still working in the comments. But I don't know if you guys saw last time, but here, I'll jump into the tablet. This is where we were at. We had just exported this stuff from ZBrush. And yeah, we got Golem here, this Pokemon. I got the reference over there. And so essentially what we did is I modeled all these parts, or sculpted rather, ZBrush them. Again, not worrying too much about the poly count because this will not be rigged or animated. At least this one won't. So I just made sure it looked pretty clean. Got the tongue, got the face, obviously, got the eyes, and 3 variations of rock that I kind of extruded out. Did a little bit of different stuff here. But essentially, I think the way we're going to do this is make a sphere in Cinema 4D and then clone these guys. And we'll see how that works. And the fun part will be lighting and texturing. So let's see what happens, I guess. Let me just jump into Cinema, make sure we got a good template here. And let's see. I think you guys can still hear me. We are in Cinema. I'm actually in R23, so I'm like 2 behind on, everything here. But just take a drink real quick. And I'm just going to merge the project that I just made. So if I go to Golem High, this should be everything I'm looking for. And you can see everything. I didn't name everything. I was being a little bit sloppy with it, but what else can you expect from a daily? So what I have here is, let's group these together and just increase this size. And essentially everything I made in ZBrush, which is totally cool. I can probably, I'll leave that sphere there for now. I was gonna make a new one. But, yeah, actually, one second. Let me just grab that screen. Bring this guy here. And yes, sir, Philip D, what's going on, man? Good to hear from you. And yeah, this is what we got. So I don't know if I need. I guess I'll just keep this here for now. These references. But right now, I guess the first thing we'll look at is the rock formation. This will be pretty fun. And I extruded these guys out a little bit more than you might expect, just so we can, yeah, just so they'll fit kind of nice in those nooks over there. So I think real quick, here, we got the rocks here. Rock 1, rock 2. So we got 3 variations of rocks. Let me just jump in here. And we'll definitely want to make sure these have a good axes. And then I move these simultaneously. Oh, nice. So I might just do a little bit cleaning up there. Okay, I'm confused. Did that not work? There we go. So this first one, let me enable snapping on axes. So, boom. This one, as long as that, as long as that is centered, yep, looking good. And rock 2. Again, these look pretty dense. I know what you guys are thinking as far as the mesh, but it does not matter, at least in my, at least in my case, because, and I mean, look at the arms. So, we're not going to be animating or rigging these things. I kind of made this thing a little bit, non-traditional, but it does not matter. And so what we're going to do is take the rock and let's hop those into a cloner. We can go object mode here, and let's just take a look at the topology of this guy here. So I think what I might do is just hop this guy inside of a remesh. Something like that, honestly. I don't know. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. It's gonna be pretty damn close, I think. Quad dominant triangles. The triangles one actually might work even better. We'll try them out. So maybe 90%. We'll see what happens. So what we'll do is hop the cloner in this thing. Obviously this looks ridiculous at this point. This is not what we're going for. So what we'll do is change it to polygon center. And let's see what's going on here. I have a feeling we're gonna have to do some redistributing of these guys. And let's see what happens. Let's take the cloner and okay, yep. There we go. So we're gonna want to go minus 90 degrees in the rotation there, and you'll see, I mean, look at this. This is kind of crazy. So I'm just going to make every one of these guys smaller. And so now we can see what's going on here at least. And I think what I want to do is, yeah, we don't need this much. Just do 80%. 80% here. Let's go render instance. That'll make these things load much faster. We don't need these guys to be all separate. And then we want to get to a point where we're pretty happy with this stuff. I mean, if you look, I think we still have too many. We don't need that much. Let's go 60%. Okay. Let's go. Okay, so this is kind of scaling based on how big the these guys are, which whatever. These guys I can zero out. Same with this thing. So I don't think we need to worry about scaling here. This looks much better. And cool, how many people we got going on here? We got about 7, not bad. And let me know in the comments, everyone. I also kind of made a Twitch. I don't know can someone tell me what the difference is between doing like a YouTube live stream and like a Twitch live stream? Because yeah, I am used to YouTube more so. I have more subscribers on here. I mean, I guess I can hop on, I know a lot of people, if they're streaming, Twitch is kind of the thing, but is there any reason why I should be doing that instead of this? I'm not sure. But in the meantime, I'm going to take the sphere that everything is cloned on. Let's go cloner base, I guess. And we can take this, make it a little bit smaller because, actually, matter of fact, I don't think we actually have to do that. I think we could just take the cloner, and once we hide the remesher, all we have to do is, oops. Oh, ooh, transform. Yeah, just kind of bring that back. So we can actually leave it how it is. And I'm going to take this chance now to take the cloner, put a random effector on there. I don't think we need position right now. Rotation, sure, of course. And then, maybe a little bit of randomization on one of these guys. But we don't want these things to be like too crazy, I don't think. But maybe 10 on each. We'll give it enough randomization to where it'll look good. Yeah, I think we can do maybe a push apart. Obviously, that is too small. And this is actually a pretty small model we're working on. So let me just put everything in a group. See where this thing's at a reasonable size, I guess. And yeah, that should be good. That subject. And gotcha. So what we did here, okay, so push apart, we don't need these things being pushed that far, but Maybe these things can be a little bit pushed apart. That's kind of looking decent. Let me see, if you look, notice the scale of this thing. I'm trying to see, the head is actually much smaller than the balls. So maybe I can actually bring these guys out more. And then just increase these guys. And I think what I'm going to do is go, instead of iterate, let's go random. We can kind of randomize these guys even more. And we'll take random, let's take the scale of these things as well and randomize those. To maybe 0.1, maybe 0.15. And you can see what's going on here. I think this ball needs to be higher. So you can take the cloner base, take off snapping. And I believe something like that is a little bit more fitting. And let me know if you guys can hear me still, if anything's weird, or if everything kind of works out. Here we go. Maybe take this, take the cloner base down a little bit. Or I guess we don't have to do that. We can just so this is looking good. I mean, I'm not too worried about, and you can see why we added some extrusion to these rocks, because I think it's definitely helping now. And I'm not too worried about, you know, having this thing being overly, I'm not too worried about there being space inside. I mean, I can always actually just I'll probably actually leave this like this and just texture that like a rock. So that might be fine. And then this head, I gotta figure out what to do with this head here. So the head, let's take the eyes, head, tongue, and these guys will be one mesh. I can kind of do one of those things. And again, not too worried about stuff being stuff colliding, at least at this point. But I'm gonna take this subject mesh and let's crank it down to the axes. Should be fine. And then I'm going to put it on the ground. So now at least he's standing on something. And yeah, I think this rock's bothering me a little bit, so I can randomize some of the, there we go. Not bad. Then do a little bit of randomization here until I get something I think I'm a little bit more happy with. That looks pretty good. I actually don't like these smooth rocks as much. So I think what I'm going to do is move that guy down and, or no. No, I do like that one. It's this guy that I don't like as much. So I'm going to move that guy down, make another one of these guys, maybe another one of these guys. And yeah, we're looking good there. Gotcha. Yep, looking good to me. I think we can maybe increase the size of these things like that. And then I think for this push apart, we might be able to scale these apart more so than anything else. And I think what happens if I... So as long as these guys aren't really touching is all I care about. then we'll continue to scale these apart. And this is honestly looking pretty good to me. And I think we might be ready to light this thing. Again, this is kind of a weird shape, not gonna lie, but oh, I see what's going on here. So we don't want to snap. Because when I look at that, this is I guess that's somewhat of a perfect circle. There we go. Awesome. And for anyone who's still watching, can you guys just let me know in the comments if this is everything looks good, or if you can hear me or whatnot. Again, this is like one of my first live streams, at least on YouTube. So if you have any insight on that, just let me know. Again, this is where we can just play with the size of these things. And I think in real life, I mean, I feel like these would be more randomly sized, so I'm not mad at that. Maybe I'll just scale these apart a little bit more. Boom. I'm gonna save what we got. What's up, Phil? Appreciate the feedback and let me know you can hear me. Yeah, I think for the gaps in the rock, I think you know, this is about finding, at least in my eyes, the perfect amount of the perfect cross section between realism and stylization. So I know areas like this, I think, can obviously be a little bit improved, but that's why this push apart, or at least scaling by those areas, I think are good. And I think the lighting, when we have this lighting, you're not really even going to be able to tell because everything's going to be textured and lit to the point. And part of me even thinks them running into each other to some degree is all right. I kind of like those chunky rocks in the back a little bit more though, so I wonder if I can get more of those in the front just by randomizing some of these. And again, for those of you just tuning in, we're just randomizing some of these rocks. Because once we're done with this, we can kind of leave it be and we don't have to worry too much about some of this mindless stuff going on. What's up, Brandon? Definitely also true. And that's a good point. I think I can, in about 2 seconds, I'll be working on getting that camera angle. Again, just kind of making sure I like the final position of these rocks. Really getting there. But I guess that's what it takes. Yeah, I can spend way too much time doing like I mean, even the stuff that most people would think you're at a good point. You know, this is one of the hardest parts of it. You know, doing anything in 3D, I guess. Finding out when you're gonna be good and when to keep working on it. Okay, I mean, I think that looks good, to be honest. Ooh, we got the legs sticking out. That's the only thing I'm looking at. So yeah, I guess we could bring the... Let's get down. We got no choice there. Bring the arms down a little bit, maybe. That looks good. Okay. Head. Boom. All right, now I'm gonna hop in this camera here. Typically, I just hop in this really high focal length camera here. I'm gonna kind of raise this guy. I like looking at an up angle a little bit just to make them look a little bit more dominant. Oops. Go. And then I'll probably rotate him so he's... Oh, what's going on here? How did that... Oh, the arms, that's right. Okay. I believe all I would have to do is, yeah. Should be good. Should definitely tag team those in the same group. Save. I believe I will save the stream. I don't see why not. So yeah, we'll see on that, but I'm pretty sure I will. Again, this is my first one. I haven't really found a perfect formula yet. Here, let me just make this axis kind of be somewhere in the middle. And then we can kind of something like that may be cool. I don't know. Or actually just a straight up front angle. I mean, if we have some really harsh lighting, make him look really mean. I'm kind of getting that vibe. I don't know if you guys agree. Either way, I'm going to have to back up here. So I might even back up a decent bit and go to like a telephoto. Just make him look that much more mean. Yeah, something like this. Now I think we can kind of get to the fun part. Let's grab an Octane live viewer window. Let's drag this guy up here. And, you know, maybe shrink this guy just a little bit. I agree. Hey Nine, what's going on? Am I supposed to say hey Nine or just hey Nine? So just to show you guys, I'll turn the light on real quick. Drinking the Airborne. I actually didn't even plan on doing this live stream today, but I want to start, you know, venturing off doing some more stuff like this. And you know, with the feedback I've been getting on Instagram, I think it's the least I could do. So we'll go back to not the tablet here. Let's go. There we go. And that's pretty much it. So again, thanks for the feedback everyone's been giving me. Let's see what happens here. Let's just render this guy out. Nice. And here, let's make sure we got some good settings. Typically, I'm going 1500 by 1500. And then if we update that, there we go. And, okay, what is going on with this guy? Oh, there we go. And I think we should be good to go. I'm going to hop in, I'm going to go Octane settings real quick. Typically, I'm just going to go path tracing. Let's set that to like 20 samples with a GI clamp of 1. We want some fast rendering here. Shift C, let's go HDRI environment. And then of course, what better way to, you know, let's get the content browser out here. And these are actually all HDRIs that are part of my HDRI pack. My first one, I have 2 HDRI packs. I have volume 1, volume 2. Volume 2 is just these studios that I use every once in a while. But I'm actually going to use my volume 1, specifically Parking Deck 01, which I use for a lot of these. And you can find this at Patrick4D.store actually, not to be too like product placement-y. But you know, might as well show you guys what I use for the HDRIs. And you can see right off the bat, it's easy to get some pretty intense lighting here. And I'm just going to duplicate this and just get a black background. And here, I'll show you guys kind of how this works. So some pretty intense lighting right off the bat. You know, there's like a million things you can do, but I'm thinking from the top or so. Something like that. Let's highlight compression on, boost the exposure, and I guess we can take the samples up a little bit. Let's go like 50. And I believe that's good. I mean, I think that's, we could do a bunch of stuff with the lighting. Yeah, I think as long as we have some nice like backlight or key light, or rim light, I should say. Okay. And cool. That looks somewhat decent. I think what I'm going to do is, what do I want to work on first? I guess the skin. I made a few presets just so we don't spend too much time doing this. In the OpenV, OpenDB. So I think what I'm going to do first is grab maybe one of my, one of these guys, I guess. And so I'll be able to show you the node structure here. So this is just a material I made for one of actually the grotesque things that I used to make. So it's just a combination of two materials with the displacement on it. And right off the bat, I guess I'll show you kind of what this looks like. Again, I'm just going to change this from projection spherical to cubic. Now we get some nice, I mean, you can see already what this kind of does. You know, it's a pretty crazy quality just to be able to render these things real time like this. And I'm actually going to lock the camera before I forget. Let's go rigging, protection. And I think all we just have to do is mess with some of these guys here. So you can see the combo of just like this material I made in the past and the lighting. I think a lot of people, when they're doing this stuff, they kind of forget what makes certain textures shine. And, you know, it's about revealing that subsurface scattering that we're getting here and all that stuff. So, what's up, Will? What's going on? So, what we're going to do is take some of these guys, and usually I'm doing this in like a few different windows, but it's kind of hard here. So, I'm just going to here. Oh, looks like I can't do that. Anyway, I believe I can actually just, can I pin this like, yeah, there we go. That's better than nothing. So what I'm going to do is take the, take this color. We don't need red as much as we need like kind of a yellowish green, I guess. So I'm just going to do exactly that. And you'd be surprised, I mean, in this kind of lighting, this, or actually, I think I grabbed the wrong. Yeah, even this kind of, you know, skin texture will look somewhat like this. So that's just kind of a fun fact there. And every once in a while I like to take the, I want to see where this displacement is being projected. It's just an image texture I'm using. And I believe we can turn on auto bump map. Get his skin a little bit bumpier. And yeah, I think that's looking good so far. I'm happy with that. And I think what we can do is let's name this texture skin, duplicate it, name this nails, and then oops. Let me go back to the nails, I guess. cubic. There we go. Toenails, just do nails. And these will just be the same material, obviously. So what I'll do, okay, I wish I had more room to work with here, but I think really all the work's going to be done in this material here. So all I have to do here is make it a little bit more yellow. Maybe decrease the saturation and take the float, bring that up till it looks a little bit more like nails. I guess it's just more yellow. So that looks good to me. I mean, we don't gotta make it too perfect. But so far, this is looking good, guys. Let me know how you're liking this. Oh, and I forgot the face. The face totally needs the... Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. So that, even just that has done a lot already. So I'm pretty happy with that. And to be honest, we can probably just texture the cloner base, the stuff underneath. I don't know what just happened there, but so now you're seeing we can get some of that texture in there as well. So really what we just need is the, and honestly it's weird because this angle you can't even see any of the mouth features we made. So I don't know if I want to like tilt this guy's head up. Yeah, I guess that's probably the best play. And then I actually have this tongue texture, but you know, the tongue is so minuscule in this specific render that I don't even think I need to. I think I can just reduplicate the skin texture. So let's go tongue. Grab that and apply it there. Boom. And what color is that tongue? Okay, I guess that's like a lighter color, so like a red. Oh, that's not what I want there. Okay, no, I am manipulating the wrong. Okay, so what's going on here? Oh, I see what was going on. Gotcha. So you can see you're getting a little bit of that tongue detail as well. And that probably should be good because we can't see anything. Let's see if the nail texture works well with the teeth here. Teeth. Honestly, yes. I don't think it needs anything crazy different. That looks good. But one of the most exciting parts is probably going to be the rocks here. So I think for the rocks, let's kind of start from scratch. That might be fun. So rocks, cloner. Let's probably put this in cubic. And all we have is this guy here. So let's go material 1, grab a submaterial. They're all, I guess, shiny. Rocks, I guess there's no subsurface scattering, at least not for these, unless we're trying to make them seem like part of his skin, which I don't know if that's kind of what's going on here. But yeah, you guys let me know. So I think what I want to do here is start pretty simple, start with a mixed texture here. And, you know, very simple. Let's, what I'm actually going to do is make one of these textures, duplicate that, And I'm actually going to, here, yeah, that's what I'll do. So maybe make one darker, maybe more saturated. And then I think I'm just going to do like an octane noise. And let's see how this is distributing. Let's go to like turbulence or something. Scale that up. And then probably going to want more. Yeah, I think for these details, we don't need anything too crazy. There we go. And we could actually use this for, or to drive the roughness. That could come back and bite us later. But to manipulate that, we can just go to a color correction. Obviously, I want to use the least amount of nodes as possible. So what I'm going to do is kind of see what happens here. So very rough, a little bit less rough, boost that contrast. And I actually want to see what's going on here. Oh, I see. Gotcha. So we got some stuff that's kind of going crazy and some that's not. Let's drag a bump here. Typically, I'll like to use just like a random image texture if I have it. If this window pops up. Just waiting for this window to pop up. There we go. Textures, just look for something random. I mean, I just have these random libraries of textures here. But, yeah, let's go to something like this dirt texture here. And I think that works well. And we're getting pretty close already, guys. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the edges of the rocks a little bit darker. And yeah, so let's see what happens here. Let's go grab another material. Or matter of fact, I think we can actually duplicate this material. What's up, Dragoy? Appreciate that. Always appreciated. Really, it means a lot. Let's go drag this to the roughness, and we're just duplicating every aspect of this texture. Except the diffuse. So actually, I don't need to do that with the diffuse. But we want the bump. And to see how this bump is, I think that's good. What's up, Will? Glad you're back. I don't know where anyone in this chat would be without you. So now what we're going to do is take the diffuse. We're going to start really harsh, so let's just bring that all the way down, and we can't see it because it's currently all being taken up. This material is all being taken up by material 1. So we're going to take the material 2 mask and just make that like a simple dirt node. And for those of you who don't know what a dirt node is, one of my favorite tools ever. You can see here what happens if I show you what you can see the outlines, or I guess you would call it like a don't they call it like an occlusion pass almost? I know, so you can see, yeah. If that ain't occlusion-y, I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna take the details up to like 10, be like 50. Just go crazy with it. Okay. Gotcha. And let's see what happens here. I believe it's giving us the reverse effect of what we want. So what we're going to do is just take this into a color correction. Essentially right now it's making everything black except the edges are white. I think we want the opposite, so we're going to invert it. And I believe that's done a lot more for us, but I'm actually not crazy about the how soft these parts are. So we're going to boost the contrast, take the exposure, no, the exposure is actually good. Probably even bump it up. Take the gamma down to something like that. And maybe lastly, just kind of mess with this. Yeah, that's crazy. Gotcha. And I think honestly, if we're being serious about this, let's actually add a. I always forget if it's a subtract or add, but I think we want subtract. And I think we want to add like an octane noise. Okay, I'm confused. Let's disable that. Enable that again. Octane noise. Interesting. Okay, maybe we want a multiply? Could be very wrong here. Oops. Yes. Okay, that's what we wanted. So now we're eating away at what we already have with an octane noise. So theoretically, we could actually boost this a little bit higher. And we're going to want to have this octane noise be very detailed. Boost this up here. And this might be too big actually, so we can shrink this down. And so, yeah, let me see here. Let me see what this is looking like. Oh, no wonder. Okay. So we're definitely gonna want, we went too far with this for sure. Yeah, so even something like this might be cool. As long as it looks pretty randomized. Maybe even another color correction node after this. There we go. So I think something like that I was looking for. Boom. Kind of a decent amount of work just to see very subtle details, but you know, that's kind of the name of the game here. Gotcha. And then I'm not sure if we want to add some displacement. That might be a nice subtle detail, which probably means we can take some of this bump down. So let's go like 0.5. Maybe even 0.25. And then, yeah, take this displacement up. Do like an image texture or something. Something simple. Okay, let's see what we got here. So let's go vertex displacement for sure. Now we're getting some really realistic looking rocks. And because we already have like a dirt node applied to everything, it's going to apply in the cracks and stuff, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go down to 5 maybe. 0.5 with the mid levels here. Maybe even more just so they're not colliding as much. And yeah, I think that's starting to look really good. And we'll see if we can cheat this golem thing here. We can just texture this thing like a really, the eyes like a really dark color maybe. Yeah, that kind of looks sick. Take the specular down. Right on. And then typically the very last thing I do is just kind of see if I want to manipulate the mesh a tiny bit. And sometimes I'll just do like a soft selection, and you know, there's certain things you can do to make him look a little bit more mean. And even if it doesn't make sense in other angles, sometimes it's kind of nice to be able to manipulate this stuff on the fly without having to go all the way back to ZBrush. And yeah, it actually doesn't really mess it up too much, but I'm actually pretty happy with this. I guess I could spend more time on the eye, you know, so maybe. All right, fine. So all I'm gonna do here is grab this material that I've made. It's kind of like a, you know, subsurface scattering eyeball material. Just go like that, and then what I'll do is just grab a sphere. Probably put that in the hierarchy and into a symmetry object, and make these as the pupils. And we can make these guys black. And this might take a second just to kind of finesse these things. Ooh, true. A9, red eye texture, good idea. Wasn't even thinking about that. I mean, I could make it like a metallic thing, maybe. Or I guess if we're talking about ruby, then I guess it would be a little bit more of a diamondy texture. In which case I could just go full red. Ooh, that looks really good. Nice suggestion, man. I really like it. Common, let's go fake shadows. Actually, I don't even know if we need it. I liked that first one. There we go. We're pretty much done, guys. I mean, there's not too much else. I mean, I'll mess with it in Photoshop for a second. But this was a good one. I can't lie. And I like that frontal angle the best, I think. That's kind of, I think that is the undeniable direction here. Looks disgusting. I think that makes him look a little bit more fierce. And this is definitely not a textbook way to model anything, but I'm just kind of doing it as a, you know, last little thing. There we go. Boom. Happy with that. I think that's good. We can actually probably add a little bit more detail to the to this guy. So subdivision level. There we go. Just a little bit more necessary detail. We could probably take this down to like 4. Maybe even 3. There we go. You know what? Let's go big or go home, maybe. And maybe just increase the size of the stuff. Decrease this. Oh, we're getting some tiling. Hell no. And maybe offset a little bit, rotate it. I think we're getting a little bit too much noise texture here. Okay. That's looking pretty decent to me. And this seems like a very late time to worry about this, but I think we can randomize these rocks a little bit. Oh. Where's the... Oh, here we go. Sorry. And this real-time updating is what really changes the game. I mean, now that I see everything lit and textured, many times I will kind of redistribute things as I see fit. Because some stuff just looks better with the correct lighting. And even if it doesn't seem like it would make sense, a lot of times it will. And I think that looks, for the most part, decent enough. Let's kind of randomize this stuff a little bit, maybe. And you can see now every single randomization, it gives you a totally new look. And I really am a fan of this style. Boom. I think that's good, guys. So I guess we'll see you in the next one. I'm gonna do a little touch up on Photoshop, but I appreciate you guys joining in and checking this out, and thank you so much. We'll see. I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. Now I just gotta figure out how to end this live stream. So yeah, thanks, guys. Let me know also if you watch this stuff from the beginning, or if you just saw it in general. Please let me know on Instagram when I post this in about 30 minutes or less what you thought of it, if I should do more, maybe suggestions. Let everybody know you saw it, and we'll try to keep doing this stuff. So just let me know. Appreciate it, guys. And also good times to stream. So I would love to know. Obviously, this is a weird random weekday, so people might be at work. So just let me know. And thanks again for watching.